Okay, so we are starting Unit 2 today, and the first day is about factoring. And this should be a review from Algebra 1, but if you forgot everything, don't worry, I will reteach you. So the most basic way of factoring is factoring out the GCF, or the greatest common factor. So whenever you're factoring out the GCF, it's like you're dividing out the largest factor of all terms. It has to be all of them. And then place the GCF outside of the group of what is left after dividing. So it's essentially the reverse of the distributive property. So here is our first one. First thing we have to do is find out the GCF. What can you divide all of those by? Looks like 3. So this will be 3 times what is 3x squared? That's just x squared. 3 times what is 18x? That would be 6x. And 3 times what is 9? And that would be positive 3. And that is it. This one. So it looks like you have n squared at least in all of them. So n squared times what is n to the 4th? That'd be n squared. N times what is negative n to the 3rd? That would be negative 1n, or you could just say negative n. And n times what is, or n squared times what is positive n squared? That's just positive 1. Next one. Looks like you can factor out a 3 on this one. So that would be 2x squared plus 3x minus 7. The last one in this section would be, hold on. Ooh, this one's a little bit trickier. So it looks like we can factor out a 2 and a k squared. So that would be 2k to the 7th. This one would be 9k. And then negative 3. All right, so now let's look factor by grouping, which is one of my favorite ways of factoring. So first, always, whenever you're factoring, try to factor out the GCF. Okay, then group the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms. And then you're going to take the GCF out of both of those. So what will be left within each group should be the same. So in the parentheses, they should be the same. And the answer is 2 binomials. You know, that was kind of a lot of directions. Let's just do it and maybe it'll make more sense. So first thing you have to do is group them. Okay, and that first set of parentheses, what can you factor out? Well, you could factor out a 3x squared. So that would just be x plus 2. The next one, you can factor out a positive 2. So that would be x plus 2. Good. Let's see here how the parentheses are the same. That's what you need. So this will be what's in that parentheses. So x plus 2 will be your final answer on one set of parentheses. And the other one will be what's left on the outside of the other 2. You combine them. So it would be 3x squared plus 2. If you wanted to double check that, well, let's do it. So let's go ahead and FOIL or distribute it out. So x times 3x squared would be 3x cubed. X times 2 would be 2x. 2 times 3x squared would be 6x squared. And 2 times 2 would be 4. So I'm going to put it into standard form. And look, that's exactly what they have up here at the very beginning. So check, we did it right. All right, the next one, can we factor out anything? First I thought of 3, but nope, doesn't look like it. So let's go ahead and do our grouping. So here it looks like we can factor out a 7x squared. So that would give you 6x plus 5. Here it looks like we can factor out a negative 3. So that's 6x plus 5. Perfect. So, well, hold on, I'm going to stop just a second. So if you saw this was a if you thought this just saw the positive 3 to factor out, say you factor out a positive 3, well, that would be negative 6x minus 5. And if you notice, those sets of parentheses don't match. So you would have to think, okay, they're really close. What can I do? And that's whenever you figure out you have to factor out the negative 3 instead of just the positive 3. Okay, so now we go ahead and combine them. So this is going to be 6x plus 5, and the other one's 7x squared minus 3. Next one, do your grouping. Looks like you can factor out a 2x squared. So that's x minus 5. There it looks like we're going to have to factor out a negative 7 because we want it to be x minus 5. So this would be 2x squared minus 7, then x minus 5. Last one. That way you could factor out of the first set, 3x squared. So that would give you 2x plus 5. And this one, we're going to have to factor out a negative because we want those both to be positive. Negative 7, it looks like to me. So that would be positive 2x plus 5. Sweet. So this will be, our final answer will be 3x squared minus 5 times 2x plus 5. And that is it for factoring.